Hi, this is Mike Mangini, and you're watching CMS TV.
Right here on your classic metal show from their latest release, Hellfire and Damnation. That is the title track, and that one going out by request to Scarfoot. He said the boys in Saxon did it again. So at least from that track, sounds like a very strong record. And just before that, we heard some King Diamond with T for Ben Benjamin, and for Demon, we heard Vicious Delight featuring Stephen Piercy, was So Depressed. So there you are, a little rock block for you for the fans.
Those Boss Hitbound singles just keep on coming.
I know. It's just like, see, I take care of you people.
Too funny.
Yeah. So do you have anything in particular to kick off this segment at all?
No, we can go with what you just sent if you want, because it's funny as fuck. That's for sure.
Well, let's go with this. So I was kind of in a nostalgia mood lately. Just I don't know whether it's the weather or because it's my age or just kind of looking back and just remembering things or rediscovering things that were favorites of mine. And so I was like going back over and looking at some old interview footage from the members of the band Chicago.
Right.
And with everything being online these days, there's stuff out there that I may have missed or wasn't aware of, or, especially somebody that you interviewed not long ago, Bill Champlin.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I ran across this like 5-part interview that he did recently about, what he's currently doing. And, you caught up with him not long ago.
Right.
And, the animosity between himself and the principal members of the band Chicago was just so, well, according to Bill Champlin anyway, is pretty unbelievable.
Right.
He spent almost 30 years in the band, and basically his takeaway from being in the band for 30 years was, those guys never liked me anyhow. It's like, how you spend 30 years in a band and,
yeah,
basically say those guys didn't like me.
They tolerated him.
Yeah. So I interviewed Bill Champlin, and we always make the joke about it that I'm the one who got Bill Champlin fired because your good friend Matt Wardlaw hooked me up with the interview, and he says, hey, I got this opportunity to interview Bill Champlin. And he goes, you're a way bigger Chicago fan than I am. He says, do you want to, do this interview? And I was just like, yeah, absolutely. So when I talked to Bill Champlin, before the interview started, he was just like, you know what, do me a favor, just kind of limit the questions to, the Chicago questions. He goes, I don't mind answering a couple of them. Right. But he says, try to concentrate more on, this solo record and this, that, and the other. He says, because the guys don't know that I'm doing this.
Right. Whoops.
And he says, I could talk about the band Chicago a little bit, if you have a couple of questions, but try not to make too many questions about it.
Right.
I respected his wishes, and I was aware of the record that had come out because Matt had, sent me an advance copy of it and things. So, the interview was, to promote his new solo release.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following day he got fired.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny, just coincidental. But anyway, I was running around or checking out different interviews with like Peter Cetera and Robert Lamm, which you and I had the opportunity to interview Robert Lamm when we were doing our show on The Rocket.
Right.
And we had him on for our Thanksgiving show, or Thanksgiving special.
That's right.
And, I remember that was kind of a big deal that we got him on the show for the Thanksgiving special, because the guys that were working over there at the Rocket, they were just, how did they get this guest on the show? That
Right.
kind of thing, there was kind of like almost like kind of a jealousy thing.
Well, they didn't like us much anyway.
No, they didn't like us anyway. But we had Robert Lamm on for the Thanksgiving morning special,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which was pretty cool. You set that up for us,
Yeah. Well, and I think they didn't like us because their best get was, Sister Bertha Bangers, and we got
or Tommy Two-Tone.
Tommy. Well, but that was even Scott with a friend. I'm saying the guy Mike that hated me and didn't like you either.
Right.
He was definitely jealous.
Oh,
because we were getting like real guests. One, he didn't like our show. He hated what we were doing.
Yeah,
but two,
we used language.
Yeah, and we'd beep it out, but we still said the words, which was bad enough, even if we did beep it out. But he didn't like us.
Didn't he say something to you or write you a note about using the word freaking or something?
He did, yeah. He hated that.
Freaking, and he goes, you know what that's another word for, don't you? Or something to that effect. Didn't he say that to you?
He did, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I know exactly what it means. Yeah, we didn't get along too. And then he got mad because he was doing like a call-in show, and he was doing like all Beach Boys or something.
Oh, yeah. And you called in?
I called in and requested the one song that was written by Charlie Manson.
Yeah, by Charles Manson. Yeah. Yeah, the Dennis Wilson song with Charles Manson.
He's like, not only am I not going to play it, but I will never play that filth.
Right.
That's terrible.
Yeah, of course.
Don't call in and ask for those things.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we did not. We were loved by Scott. And I think Anita liked us too.
Yeah, she liked us.
And then everybody else hated us over there.
Right, of course.
But that was a fun time. You got to admit, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for the 2 years that we did that show.
Yeah. Somehow we didn't get a fine or anything for.
Yeah, we had a clean version of this show, a 2 hour version of the CMS that they aired out there in Enid, Oklahoma.
That's right, with that bad word clip that we would stick in there all the time.
Sure. Well, anyway, as I was going through various interviews and things, I ran into this interview that Robert Lamm, one of the founding members of the band Chicago, the keyboardist, one of the principal songwriters, he was doing an interview with some Canadian station to promote one of their shows in the local area, like Winnipeg or something like that. And this interviewer, number one, he had no reading comprehension.
Right.
And he knew nothing about Robert Lamm as far as like being prepped for the interview.
Mm-hmm.
And this supposedly aired on the radio, on terrestrial radio. This was for an actual radio station.
They had to have cut clips and just taken little tiny clips, no?
Well, I don't know where would they have gotten this whole interview from. Because and not only that, and this is something that always bugs me about, radio supposedly having a budget, money behind them, and engineers and people who work at the station.
Yeah.
The phone audio is so bad.
Yeah, this is definitely plunger on the back of the receiver.
Yeah, exactly. The buzzing going on and all that. It's like, holy shit, this is a radio station?
Yeah. It's an LP.
Apparently so.
It's 109.3 at the far, far, farthest end of the dial.
Right, I guess. So anyway, I ran across this interview, and Chris and I have coined the term years ago. Man, that's a tough listen.
Yeah.
This is a tough listen.
I only got through about 3 minutes. I couldn't take much more. I mean, I didn't hear the whole thing. Did you listen to the whole thing?
I did.
Oh.
I had to listen to the point. If you see the headline at the top there, it says Robert Lamm cuts the interviewer off.
Yeah, I did fast forward to that.
Yeah, so you'll hear what he had to say.
Right.
It's just so funny. But go ahead.
All right, well, here it is. Here's a little bit of it. All this great audio. Here we go.
They left the ring in there.
Yeah, just left it all. No editing at all.
Hello?
Hey, it's Jack. It's Robert Lamm.
Hey, Robert. Good to hear from you again, my friend. Good to hear from you. And thank you so much for taking the great pleasure of allowing me to interview you today.
Thank you so much for taking the great pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for taking the great pleasure of allowing me to interview you. So it's Robert's pleasure that this guy's going to speak to him.
Right.
Holy smokes.
All right.
All right, here we go.
My pleasure.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. It's going to be a treat to have one of the founding members of Chicago to interview today. Now, that is a treat in itself.
Thank you.
Also, I like to.
What do you mean also? You haven't asked the question yet.
Is there any way to boost the audio on that at all?
It's up full blast. That's everything I
didn't know
got.
if there was any other controls on your end, but that's
no,
all right.
There's no setting here.
All right.
But-
Go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Acknowledge that Chicago's recorded a new studio track. Chicago 36 was released on Frontier Records. It includes.
All right, I'm stopping right here. Everything he says is wrong. They've recorded a new track called Chicago 36. No, it's a new release.
It's a new
called
album.
Chicago 36.
It's a new CD.
Yeah. And it's Frontiers, more than one Frontier. Frontiers Records, not Frontier Records. This guy is just a buffoon from the word go.
Right.
It's like, what else can I say wrong here? Good Lord. All right, here we go.
11 brand new songs recorded on the road. Chicago has built a new recording system that is flexible, power and musical. This new recording travels with the band. They have even created an online collaborator that allows even more performances to be worked on around the clock. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
I don't even know what he just said.
I mean, neither does he. He doesn't know what he just said.
Well, he basically said that they take a portable recording studio on the road with them so they can record in the hotels while they're in the downtime. That's all. That's basically what it boiled down to.
All right. Not that I'm the world's best interviewer in the world. I'm sure I'm not, but you don't lead with facts.
Well, this reminds
Ask the question.
Well, this reminds me of a Shadow Steel type interview.
Oh yeah, but even way worse. At least Shadow can read. The obvious thing would be, "Hey Robert, how you doing? There's a new record out. I heard you recorded it on the road. How'd you get that done?" Let him tell you what they used, not you tell him. He knows what he used.
Make it conversational.
Yeah, let him, the guy that did it, tell you what he did. That's what the people don't want to hear you read ever. They want to hear this guy say what he did.
Right.
Oh my God, this fucking guy. Okay, here we go.
Well, I think that one of the things that Chicago has learned, and the individuals in the band, is that technology has allowed us to be creative, and everything from the synthesizers that we use and the way that we record digitally, all those things that did not exist when the band started. But we've kept up with everything, and as you say, the traveling studio that we were able to assemble, and the way that we can exchange ideas and really kind of write songs and record songs, using the internet. All of that is made up.
Now, if you were listening to this on your favorite radio station, how fast, even if you are a fan of Chicago, how fast would you be out of there?
About right now.
Yeah, you'd be like,
Not even 2
whatever.
minutes in, so I was like, how long is this going to go on?
Yeah, this is that.
Yeah, it's just torture.
Yeah, this is brutal. All right, here we go.
Our lives easier, a little more complicated, but at the same time it's easier.
Oh, I agree 100% there. Also, I like to
Why do you agree? What have you recorded where you would agree with what he's saying? Other than this fine quality interview that you've recorded so far. Jesus Christ, are you kidding? He agrees totally, dude.
Yeah, of course. Robert said it. It's cool.
Yeah, my God. All right.
also acknowledge, Robert, that Chicago and the Dewey Brothers recently announced their Go Headline North America Summer Tour kickoff June 7th of 2017 this year in Concord, CA.
CA.
CA, is that Canada or California or what?
California, Concord.
Concord.
It's Concord, California.
Well, it might be Concord, Canada. We don't know. I like the part when he said, yeah, your tour kicks off in 2017 this year.
This year?
This year. Apparently the people listening don't know that 2017 was this year when he did this interview. Jesus. Okay, here we go.
30 plus tour dates promoted by Live Nations will take
Live Nations.
Live Nations. What is wrong with this guy?
He's trying to read off the sheet.
But he's reading things that clearly aren't. There's no S on Live Nation.
Well, he's just a poor reader. He has poor reading skill comprehension. Yeah, I agree with the buzz part.
I've heard audio from the mafia rats wearing a wire working for the FBI. They're better. Yeah, this guy's taking a beating.
Oh, man.
All right, here we go.
Award-winning and multiple platinum-selling groups through the was it Empire Theaters in major cities, including Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Toronto, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., for the night for an unforgettable live music. Awesome, Robert.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Wow.
Awesome, Robert.
Awesome, Robert. You know, Lamm is sitting there. He's got a notepad probably next to his phone. He's writing, "Fire my manager" right now.
Or never do an interview with this station again.
Yeah, fire the publicist. What in the fuck? Jesus. All right, here we go.
Playing with our friends, the Dewey Brothers. We've been touring together over the years, but the way that we've been performing lately with the Deweys is the Deweys play and the Chicago plays, and then the Deweys and Chicago do a finale where both bands play together, play various songs from each of our greatest hits together, and it's always an amazing experience for the audience, and it's really great fun. And personally, I just love when I can hang out a little bit with the guys in the Dewey Brothers.
Oh, awesome. And you guys have been doing this for a long time. What can I say? Since 1969. Now, I have to read this to you. Of course, Chicago, hailed as one of the most important bands in music since the dawn of rock and roll era by former President Bill Clinton, the legendary rock and roll band with horns, Chicago came in at number 9 in the highest charting American band in Billboard magazine. Recent Hot 200 all-time top artists, and Chicago is the first American rock band to chart top 40 albums in 6 consecutive decades. My goodness, Robert, how does that make you feel?
Oh my God. What's that like?
Is this my nephew chimed in? Is this Jaffer's brother? What the fuck?
Oh,
Or Natalie?
this is Nate.
This is Natalie's world.
It's Natalie's brother, Nate.
Did you ever think that you would get this far? Did you ever think this day would ever come?
30 years, 1969, 6 decades. What comes to mind? Oh my God.
I guess punctuation doesn't mean anything either.
No.
Wow.
Just an idiot. Holy cow.
He's just plowing through the words. The words don't make any sense at all.
All right, here we go.
It's really gratifying to be acknowledged for something that we love to do, something that I love to do personally, and the fact that the band has been able to stay very productive and very energetic in our performances on stage, and we've remained creative, and it's just one of those things where if you love to make music, which Chicago does, and the individual guys love to play music, this is just a blessing.
Oh, it certainly is. It certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about the debut album that came for Chicago, which was called Transit Authority, later known as Chicago. It was recorded and released in 1969, and some of the songs from the debut album are Questions 67 and 68, which made it to number 71 U.S., 100 that is, U.S. 100, and 54 in Canada. And the singers on that, of course, is Peter Cetera and yourself, Robert Lamm. Other songs from the debut album, Beginnings, and that made it to number 7, U.S. 100, and number 8 in Canada.
Robert, what do you think of car stereo sound? I know everybody doesn't get that joke. I know you do.
This is Shadow Steel's retarded brother.
Oh my God, it certainly is.
And he goes, and the funny thing is that prior to this little thing, he goes, I have to read this to you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Robert's going, yeah, I know. I'm the one who did that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about why in 2017 is he answering questions about an album he did in 1969?
I don't know. Because this guy is just trying to fill up the interview with like facts about the band or something. Like he doesn't have any questions to ask. It's just like, I got to fill like 15 minutes of time. I got a 15-minute slot with Robert Lamm. So what do I talk about? Oh, I know. I'll just regurgitate band history in.
Yeah. And not for nothing. And again, I'm not trying to say I'm the greatest or Neely's the greatest or any of that kind of shit, or Eddie Trunk, any of them. Pick an interviewer that you like. Eddie Trunk, Jamie Josta, Chris Jericho, Howard Stern. I don't care who it is. Me, Neely, whoever. All of us that have done a lot of interviews can fill up 15 minutes talking about the current project. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter how bad the guest is, no matter if they're 1-word answer people or 10-word answer people or talk too much people, We can fill up 10 minutes on the current project. This fucking buffoon is not 6.5 minutes in, and he's already going backwards 50 years.
Yeah, to the debut record.
To the debut record. You know what? I think they're past that.
Yeah.
They're 3 greatest hits records past that.
Because they were promoting Chicago 33 or 35.
Yeah. I think he said 36 or something at the beginning of this.
36, but it's like, yeah, that was 36 records ago. What are you talking
Yeah, but let's talk about the CTA record, all right? Or whatever that record
was.
That
CTA
was
record,
CTA?
yeah, Chicago Transit Authority.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What a fucking idiot.
And he's not really talking about it. He's just spouting out facts.
Yeah, he's not talking to Robert at all. He's just saying word, Robert.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Robert doesn't know what to do with this shit.
You know what this reminds me of is Chris Farley bit on Saturday Night Live when he was like had Paul McCartney. He goes,
Okay.
do you remember the time that you guys played Shea Stadium? And Paul goes, yeah. And he goes, that was awesome.
That was great.
And you remember that time that you got busted for weed in Japan or something? What was that like?
Yeah, I know. He it's like Farley was doing an imitation of this guy. Good Lord.
Chris Farley was Canadian too.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's who taught this guy.
Yeah, that's maybe where he got the inspiration for that segment.
And this interview style. All right, here's some more. This guy's unreal.
And those are, 2 great songs there.
Well, we were at the point where we recorded that album. We were very young. Most of us were just out of college, and we were just, didn't really know what we were doing, but we knew that we were making music and we were having fun doing it.
Oh, excellent. And of course, here's another song I like from that album. Does anybody really know what time it is? What a great song. And of course, when you sing that song, Robert, as singing lead vocals onto that, you put a lot of feeling into it.
Well, that's something that the music inspires. The music inspires, and usually these songs are autobiographical. They're not fiction songs in any way. And so, songs that I sing, I'm definitely singing from an emotional place.
Oh, definitely. And also, it's important that I acknowledge here that Chicago's Transit Authority was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2014, and the band performed on the Grammy stage for the first time that year. Chicago was inducted into the 2006 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This was their first nomination. They've been eligible since 1994.
You're talking to the guy in Chicago. You don't have to say they were first eligible. He's one of the guys.
He said that they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. It was 2016.
Well, close. 10 years. It's only 10 years off. Say that like that's a big deal.
Oh, my God. And he said this was the first year they were eligible for nomination.
A nomination. What is nomination? All right. This guy's a pip.
Wow.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, it's these kind of honors are not anything that a young band really thinks about or aims for, I don't think. But when your peers and your fans, we were basically voted into the Hall of Fame by other musicians and other members of the Grammy organization. But also, we got votes. We got like 35 million votes online from our fans all over the world who voted us into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that was 2014.
Whoa, amazing. And I want to see if I get this last name right here. If I don't get it right, I always have.
Well, don't worry, dude. You've got everything else wrong. Why would you get this one right?
Exactly.
Holy cow.
Then don't attempt it. Don't even don't even make it part of your discussion or your fact reading or whatever it is that you're doing there.
I mean, you swung and missed at something that you were reading by 10 years. Why the fuck would you get this right? All right, here we go.
Room for learning. And here we go. You and James Pankow, Jimmy Pankow, will become the latest introduction of the Songwriters Hall of Fame at the organization's 48th annual induction on Thursday, June 15th in New York City. Their legendary songwriters wrote mega hits such as 25 or 6 to 4, Saturday in the Park, which is my all-time favorite song.
Wow.
I'll have to add here. Feeling Stronger Every Day, and Make Me Smile, and many more.
Yes, it's going to be quite an evening and quite intimidating because,
I got to give it to Lamm here. He is a good sport.
Yeah, he's very patient, very calm, very, very cool.
He is a good sport. I mean, dude, we talk to a lot of guys that do tons of interviews, and they all say the same thing. When they do a good interview, they always tell you, they're like, oh, thank God it wasn't the same fucking 20 questions.
Right.
This has to Robert Lamm has to have done 5,000 interviews in his career.
Easily.
Because he's always been the spokesperson.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time, he's been the guy.
Yep.
So can you imagine how many of these kind of interviews that he must have done that he's this patient in 2017 with a fucking moron? Woof, this is something. Good question, Jerry. Whew. All right, here we go.
Induction ceremony at the Songwriters Hall of Fame is basically a room full of other songwriters. And, basically, I'm really gratified to be honored in such a way, but it's also intimidating because these are really, really great songwriters. And so I feel a little bit like we're not worthy.
I hear you. Now, Robert, how did you meet your band members, Peter Cetera, the late Terry Kath, and many more great members of that band?
Many more of the great members,
as opposed to the non-great members of the band.
Right. Again, rehashing 50-year-old history. This is like,
how did you meet the band?
Yeah, how did you meet your great members of the band?
Yeah, Robert, what age were you when you first heard a song?
Right.
Jeez, unreal. This guy, what a tool.
The other great members of the band.
Other great members of the band. All right. See, I didn't get this far. What an idiot.
Well, actually, the band was started by Walt Parazater, saxophonist. Walt and Jimmy Pankow went to school together, studied music together. Lee Loughnane also studied music in Chicago. But Walt and the original drummer, Danny Serafin, and Terry Kath were in a band before Chicago. And so they were kind of the nucleus. So when the band first got together, it was Jimmy Pankow, Lee Loughnane, Walt Parazater, horns, and then Terry Kath, Robert Lamm, and Danny Serafin. So it was just six for about 2 years. Then we added a bass player, and the rest is history.
Oh, I hear you. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge Terry
I
Kath
hear you.
for a second there. and give my, I know this has been a while, but I mean, what can I say? Announcer to singer. I cannot imagine, the pain of burying a band member. I mean, it's an unordered sort of thing. And
are you kidding?
I cannot imagine. I mean, we know.
What year did Terry Kath die, for God's sakes?
78.
78?
Yep.
Thoughts and prayers, dude. 39 years later, let me ask you how you felt. Seriously? You can't ask any questions about this 2017 album. Tell me what were the good songs on Chicago 36. Which song was the toughest to put together? What song are you looking forward to mixing into the set? Like, I'm throwing them out off the top of my head.
Yeah.
He hasn't asked one question about this record that he's supposed to be promoting.
Yeah.
And he's 11 minutes into his 15-minute interview. God damn it. See, I hate guys like this. I'm going to tell you, I absolutely hate guys like this. Because when I do interviews, they expect this. This is the guy they expect to come on with. That's why they're always late. That's why they always skip interviews. That's why a lot of times they're, they just don't put any, you prep for it, and then they don't show up for it. And this is why, because 90 times out of 100, this is the fucking idiot that they talk to. And they're just like, oh my God, and pulling the curtain back. They do like 15 in a row.
Yeah.
So if you did 15 in a row and you get 2 good ones out of it and 13 of this guy, that's got to make you just drink a fucking fifth of vodka as you go through your day. What an ass. God, I hate people like this. All right, here we go.
What actually, we know what happened. We're not going to get into that, but I will say that it was a tragedy.
Then why are you even bringing it up?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it at all, but it was.
We all know what happened. Well, if we all know what happened, why are you talking about it?
Yeah. Good one. What a dick. See, this guy's making me mad now.
Well, as soon as I heard this, finished listening last week, I had to send it to you. It was like, holy shit.
And I just went like 3 minutes in. I was like, oh, this guy's a fucking tool. I didn't even think to go this far. Jesus. All right, here we go.
He was one of my best friends, and we had a lot of history together, and we enjoyed creating music together. He is still greatly missed, and he was really a wonderful guy and an absolute genius on guitar.
Oh, excellent. Now, you guys play in...
Why would you say excellent to a story about somebody that died?
Excellent.
Excellent. Awesome. Glad to hear it. You just told you a story about his friend that died. Excellent. Excellent. Wonderful.
He was a genius on guitar. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You should have just ducked your head in shame for asking such a horrendous question, you dick. Jeez.
What's it like burying a band member?
Yeah, what kind of question is that? And okay, I'm actually okay with that question if it happened in 2015. Not something that happened 40 years prior. 40 years prior. And you're asking about the emotional impact of this guy dying. What a fucking idiot. All right, here we go.
Do some Chicago tours. Is there times that when you play a song, do you ever say to yourself that, man, Terry might have loved this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do think, and I think that he would have loved the technology as well.
Oh, definitely. But with that being said, also on to the next subject here. I also like to acknowledge that
Next topic.
Chicago...
Well, but I don't even mind that part, but with that being said, let's go to something else. I got to play that again.
Well, I'm going to move on to something else. Next topic.
But I like how he says, with that being said, like there's a follow-up thought. With that being said, what do you think he would have liked about the technology? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Elaborate on the question.
Yeah.
Build on it.
Yeah. But his thing is, with that being said, I'm going to another topic. What? All right.
I'm just going to cut you off right there, Robert. Yeah. And I'm going to move on to something else I want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez, oh man.
Play and do some Chicago tours. Is there times that when you play a song, do you ever say to yourself that, man, Terry might have loved this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do think, and I think that he would have loved the technology as well.
Oh, definitely. But with that being said, also on to the next subject. I also like to acknowledge that Chicago has raised over $250,000 to fight breast cancer for the American Cancers Association, which I think is absolutely spectacular. And also, Chicago has actually helped people, to my understanding, with special needs.
Well, we've tried to do our share.
Yeah, how do you think you got this interview?
Are you one of the Make-A-Wish people?
How much money did you get?
He's one of the Make-A-Wish recipients. Right. I wish I could interview Robert Lamm.
Yeah, which Shriners Hospital can I visit you at? Fucking turd. Good Lord. Spectacular.
Spectacular.
Giving back whenever called upon, and we don't really talk about it publicly very much. We just feel like it's more important to actually support various causes and just be helpful, just be good citizens.
Oh, that's excellent, Robert. I'm really glad to hear that. That's fantastic. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that there's a documentary film now more than ever, The History of Chicago, premiered on, actually this already premiered already, on CNN on New Year's Day and ranked #1 along adult 25-54, and this is the Pierre Nelson.
Was it 25 to 54 or was it 25 and 6 to 4? That's my question. What an idiot. Holy cow. All right.
First national time period based data for the date where it was on, which I think was the first month, first day.
You just said it was January 1st.
The first month of the first day of the first year of...
You just said 2 seconds before January 1st. Wow. All right.
Which was January 1st, 2017. That was on from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. If I had known that was on, I would have watched it.
Would you?
I think that they'll probably replay it again later in the year, but it is still viewable on iTunes or Amazon.
Oh, okay, cool, excellent. The documentary film was originally shown in Sedona. Am I pronouncing that right? Sedona? Sedona, okay. International Film Festival in February of...
Sedona?
Sedona.
Is that Madonna's sister?
Yeah, Sedona.
Jeez.
Is it Sedona? It's Sedona. Oh, okay, yeah, Sedona.
Well, it's pretty obscure. It's a pretty obscure town. Nobody's heard of that place before.
Sedona.
Is it Chicago? Jesus. All right.
Last year, 2016, and won the Film Festival's Best of Fest Audience Choice Awards. The band opened the festival with back-to-back solo performances. Chicago's
back-to-back what performances?
Solo.
So I think he meant sold out.
Yeah, I think he did too, but he said solo. Back-to-back solo performances. What does that
Right.
even mean? Does that mean Robert played without Chicago? Chicago sat in the crowd and watched? Whew.
Include 2 Grammy Awards, multiple American Music Awards, founding artist of the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Artists, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Chicago street. Now this is amazing. I gotta read this part. Chicago street dedicated in their honor, and that's amazing. That's amazing.
Well, all these things are really wonderful and really gratifying, and we're very, very grateful and honored to be singled out like that. But for us, really, the important thing is to continue to play music.
Oh,
Jack, it's been a great conversation, but I must move on. I have, as you know, I've been running late today.
oh, not a problem there, Robert. The information that I actually got and we discussed today is absolutely spectacular.
Spectacular.
I understand, and thank you so much, Robert Lamm, once again, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to me for a few minutes. Keep up the good work, and be cool.
I just want to say that we love our Canadian fans. We've been touring through Canada coast to coast the last several years, and we look forward to returning to Canada very soon.
Excellent, Robert Lamm. Have yourself a great day. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
There you go, Neeley.
There you go.
Great conversation.
That was a great conversation.
I promise you all, not all Canadians are retarded. Oh. Good God.
When you wrote Alone Again, did you have anybody in mind when you wrote that song?
Yeah. Were there a lot of people in the room when you wrote that one, Robert?
So there wow.
Oh, my God. What a douche.
His program director should be ashamed of himself for allowing,
His program director should fire him immediately.
unless he is the program director.
Yeah. That's probably it, too. It might be. Guys, I did a great interview with Robert Lamm.
Right.
I think you guys should listen to it.
It was a very conversational discussion.
Robert and I had a great talk.
Yeah, I just read and spewed facts back at him that he may not have known.
Yeah. May not know this about his career, but
You may not know this, Robert, but you wrote 25 or 6 to 4.
yeah. Really? So, Robert, I know it's been a while, but how'd you feel about your friend blowing his head off?
Comment?
Comment?
Too soon?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all he needed to ask. Too soon? What a monumental douche. Dear God, that was bad.
I know.
Do we have this guy's name? We should give him credit for this, but no, it's not in here.
Yeah.
I'd love to give him credit for. Oh my God. Whew. That was tough.
Does he go by the initials JL?
He was way smarter than JL. Come on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That, my friend, was a tough listen.
That is a tough listen.
Oh boy, that's something.
Well,
All right.
I got a short little thing we can do to wrap
Okay.
up this hour.
Sure.
I don't know if you had heard this or not, but Madonna is out on tour since we're talking about non-metal stuff.
All right. I thought she was dead.
Madonna?
Yeah. Didn't she have like a OD or something?
I don't know.
I think she did. Yeah.
When was this?
3-4 months ago.
Oh, no, she's out on tour. Or I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Madonna. It's like she passed out and they canceled show dates.
Okay.
And they thought she might be dead. Yeah, it was a thing.
Oh, I didn't know.
She was in an induced coma last summer. 48-hour coma
Okay.
after passing out in her bathroom.
Oh. All right. Well, I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this goes back to something we talked a couple of weeks ago. Remember the guy who called into the Eddie Trunk show and complained that the Dawkins show started late?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, these are a couple and other New Yorkers who had the same problem with Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
2 New York City men wanted to get into the groove of a Madonna concert. Now they're suing the pop star for starting her show late because they had to get up early the next day.
Oh, brother. I wonder if they'll win.
It wasn't that guy's complaint that they had to go to work in the morning?
Yeah?
It goes, they started the show late and we had to go to work in the morning.
Yeah, how dare they?
Yeah. Michael Fellows of Brooklyn and Jonathan Haddon of Bronx bought tickets for Madonna's show. That's kind of questionable, isn't it?
What?
Two dudes going to the Madonna show together.
I'm sure there's a lot of ass in ass or dick in ass sex going on between the couples at a Madonna show.
Exactly. They bought tickets for the Madonna show December 13th celebration tour concert at Barclays Center.
Strike up pose.
Mm-hmm. The tickets said that the show would begin at 8:30 p.m., but Madonna did not take the stage until sometime after 10:45. Since when do main stage concerts start at 8:30?
I don't know.
They never do. They usually have an opener or something, and that's usually like the doors at 7, show starts at 8:30, and it's usually like an opening act or something.
Right.
That doesn't mean Madonna is going to take the stage at 8:30.
No, not at all. I mean, look, that's just kind of I've always looked at that as like a target time.
Yeah, it's
just kind of make sure you're in your seats by about that time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. But Madonna did not take the stage until sometime after 10:45 p.m., according to the lawsuit. And the men said that they were confronted with limited public transportation, limited ride sharing, and or increased public and private transportation costs by the time the show let out at 1 a.m.
Okay. Sucks to be you.
Perhaps encouraged by Madonna's urging to express yourself, Fellows and Haddon also complained that the concert was no holiday because they had to get up early to go to work or take care of their family responsibilities the next day.
Gee whiz. Somehow I just wonder if that show was a true blue spectacle. What is with the writer on this, with all the dumb Madonna,
Because it has to be fun and entertaining.
Please. Can you wedge any more song titles in there?
There may be some in here.
Oh, good.
Fellows and Haddon are suing Madonna, Live Nation, and Barclays Center for unconscionable, unfair, and or deceptive trade practices for promising the public that the concert would begin at 8:30 p.m.
Where did she promise that? If anything, the promoter might have promised it, not Madonna.
On the tickets, it said 8:30 on the tickets.
Man. Well, apparently these two weren't her lucky stars that night.
Is this their first time going to a show?
Must have been.
Holy cow.
They lived so close to the borderline that they couldn't get home on time.
The pair is arguing there was a breach of contract.
Breach of contract, huh?
Yep.
Well, at least they lived to tell about it, right? I mean, I'm going to do it too. If the newspaper guys can do it and get paid, why can't I do it?
Sure, and you're doing it off the cuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Papa don't preach. I'm keeping my tickets.
Madonna had we're talking about Madonna. Yes, they were fags. Madonna had demonstrated flippant difficulty in ensuring a timely or complete performance, and defendants were aware that any statement as to a start time for a show constituted at best the optimistic speculation, the lawsuit said.
That's right. Those guys just need to chill out and get into the groove, for God's sakes.
Right. The lawsuit filed Wednesday in Brooklyn federal court seeks class action status because the men said it is their belief other celebration tour concerns began similarly late.
Well, they have the right to express themselves, Neeley,
Right.
but I mean, come on.
The lawsuit seeks unspecified damages.
What damages?
Well, they had to get up late. I mean, they had to go home late, and they had to get up the next morning to go to work and take care of business.
Okay, how much is an hour of sleep worth?
Don't know.
I mean, honestly, what would you pay these two guys for an hour of sleep? $20?
Right.
I'm sure Madonna would rip off a 20 for each of them to go the fuck away and shut up.
Yeah. Based on the years-long history of Madonna arriving several hours late to prior concerts and which conduct continued at concerts in other cities after the concert at the Barclays Center, including concerts in Washington, D.C. and Boston, plaintiffs knew or should have known that the concerts would not start at 8:30 p.m. and that Madonna would not take the stage until several hours after the start time, causing plaintiffs and all class members to have to wait several hours, the lawsuit said. Madonna kicked off her celebration tour in October at the London O2 Arena after initially having to delay the tour following a medical scare, the one you just mentioned, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She had been scheduled to start the tour in July of 2023, but had to postpone due to being hospitalized in June for serious bacterial infection.
Yeah, right. Low ticket sales.
ABC News has reached out to Madonna's representative as well as Live Nation and the Barclays Center for comment. Madonna has faced similar lawsuits before. During her 2019 Madam X tour, she was sued multiple times for starting concerts late. So there's a precedent, right?
I get if there's ever been a winner. Somehow I'm thinking there's never been anybody that's won this case. She's been sued for it a bunch of times, but has anybody ever won?
That's my point. There's a precedent already.
Yeah.
A Florida man, Nate Hollander, sued Madonna. What is with these men suing Madonna and Live Nation in November of 2019, allegedly that they had moved a concert 2 hours later than originally planned, and it was too late for him to attend. Hollander voluntarily dismissed the suit just a month later, according to the court records. On the same Madam X tour, a pair of concert goers at a show in Brooklyn, New York, filed a similar lawsuit to the one of this week. Andrew Panos and Antonio Vallata sued Live Nation, the Brooklyn Academy of Music, and Madonna in February 2020, claiming the pop star didn't start her two shows at the venue until more than 2 hours after the listed start time on the tickets. Panos and Vallata came to the unspecified settlement in July of 2020, and the lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed.
Yeah.
It's like, dudes, don't go to the show then.
Yeah, stay home.
Have you ever gone to a show and said, well, the ticket said 8:30 and now it's 9:45?
No. And I've left shows where they didn't come on time.
Yeah. Well,
Have you done that? I've done that.
How about how many shows did Axl Rose show up late? That was a very common place where he'd be 3 and 4 hours late.
Dude, I went home on one in at the what's that place? Shoreline Amphitheater. At Shoreline, it was Skid Row and Guns N' Roses. Skid Row played at like 7:30. They were done at like 8:05. Axl came on at like 11:10.
Right.
I was like, fuck this. I'm going home.
Sure.
You know, I'm not staying for this. You just go home. That's it. You lose.
It's just not fair. Somebody needs to pay. That's true.
It's true. Good point, Anthony.
So there you are. So a couple of whiny fucks in New York suing the great Madonna because she didn't take the stage and strike a pose at 8:30.
Well, they're not going to win anything, so
no.
Sue away.
Yeah, and again, it's already a precedent now. Several people have done this.
Sure. And do you really think you're going to outsue Madonna? She's a fucking billionaire, for God's sake. She's got plenty of money to keep delaying and keep filing appeals and everything else. Yeah. You are going to sue until you're broke.
Yeah.
Over what? 2 hours of tickets?
And the thing is you're not going to sue Madonna. It's the promoter, Live Nation. They're the ones who are at the front line here. This doesn't have anything to do. You're not going to go directly to the performer. Because you didn't buy the ticket from Madonna. No. You bought it from Live Nation.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, and I have no knowledge of this at all, but I guarantee you that somewhere in section 93, subsection F, on the online bullshit that you always just click right through, it says the artist is, the artist could show up anytime within 24 hours or something of the scheduled start time.
Right.
I guarantee you there's something in there to protect them for that.
I'm sure there is. It's just like the whole rain or shine clause.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went to Blossom and I had lawn seats and it was pouring rain.
Yeah. You're right. You did.
Well, there should have been some kind of cover for us people out here in the lawn.
No, there was your shirt.
Yeah, it's called Rain or Shine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dummies. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that one up there.
That's funny.
Yeah. Dumbasses.
Yep.
All right. Well, I say we take a break to play a few songs.
Okay.
Anything in mind? What comes to mind, Chris Akin?
Alice in Chains, Head Creeps. How's that? Because Madonna's head is creepy now.
I was playing Music Bank last night.
Good box, man.
I know. I listened to the whole thing last night. I was sitting here in the studio for about 5 hours last night.
Okay.
Just chilling out, listening to Alice in Chains Music Bank.
Hell yeah, it's a good box.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's a good box.
Yeah, it's a good box. I guess they're getting ready to release like a Jar of Flies box set or something.
Okay.
I'll be all about that. That'll be awesome.
Sure. What was the song you wanted?
Head Creeps from the Tripod record or self-titled or whatever it's called.
Yep, got it. All right, well, we'll play a few songs and come back and do some more stuff. We'll get into the sponsored segment of the show already.
Ooh.
All right, good. So anyway, I think this album came out in 96?
Somewhere in there, yeah.
95. So here it is. It's Alice in Chains with the Head Creeps exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
The most exciting and most talked about show today is Chris Akin Presents. If you like great interviews, real road stories, and more, then Chris Akin, Eric Ferentinos, and their cast of characters have the show that you need to watch. Catch the show live on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern at chrisakin.net, CMS TV, Wowza TV, Rumble, and X. There's always lunacy happening on Chris Akin Presents.